Hello, I'm Susan Manning with Manning Pool Service in Houston, Texas. My husband Jeff and I started our business in 2001. He had been in the business for about 30 years in the pool industry, and I was a school teacher. So we were the teacher and the pool man. To start the business, we had to borrow $500 and borrow a truck. So we were just two people who happened to own a business. We had no experience, we had no capital, we just were willing to take a risk. And I really didn't want to be a part of it. I was an effective, great teacher and imagined that I always would be. Jeff grew up on a cattle ranch, a real cowboy with a personality of trustworthiness. He gained a large client, and pretty soon our house was full of pool parts, even whole heaters. By the way, we had to pay cash at the supply house for everything we bought. So we were making about $40,000. It was just a job. But we grew. In 4 years, revenue was about $400,000, and we had 4 employees. But there was no money in the bank. We paid ourselves poorly and inconsistently. In fact, one payroll right at Christmas time, there wasn't much money in the bank. I went and withdrew it all, divided it by 6, and paid the employees. And we were miserable. 4 times a month we had to make payroll, and I didn't sleep. In December of 2011, I was ready to shut down. But our CPA said, no, you can make it. He took about 4 months to help us get stabilized, and then he said, get a coach. He recommended Winnie with ActionCOACH. A wonderful thing happened. The next morning I went to a Chamber of Commerce meeting, and Doug was the keynote speaker. I sat on the front row and listened to everything he said, made an appointment with him, and about 2 weeks later, we were a client of ActionCOACH. Well, Doug agreed to take us on. So now 3.5 years later, there has been great progress. It didn't come easily. We had to do a lot of work, long hours. But why have a coach? First of all, it's like having a board of directors. Someone can help you through situations and answer different questions about all aspects of business. Another thing, a coach helps put our mistakes into perspective. We're not the only company who makes mistakes. And also, mistakes can become a learning. And also, a coach celebrates the wins with you. When you get to a goal or a milestone, there's always something to celebrate. Now, since we paid ourselves inconsistently, what do you think our credit rating was? Our personal money was tangled up with the business money. Now, 3.5 years later, we are 2 strong and separate entities. Manning Pool Service money and Jeff and Susan's money. Our credit was trash, but now we get loans easily. So from 0 money in the bank, we average on a daily basis a balance of $83,000. So from $400,000 annual revenue to $2 million. And that supplier who asks for cash every time, we have a $50,000 line of credit with them. We have diversified into 3 revenue streams and are considering several others. And we have a database of 1,500 clients. So why ActionCOACH? First of all, ActionCOACH teaches you the structure of business. How do all of the parts interact and relate to one another? Another thing is learning finance. When I had my first meeting with Doug, he said, bring your P&L. And I said, what's that? Now I know how to create and read and make changes on a P&L and even present it to a banker or to my managers. Again, ActionCOACH is like having a board of directors. Not only do you have a resource for most every situation that comes up in business, but you also have a network provided for you and also a network of colleagues. And when mistakes are made, we are coached that that's not a mistake, that's a learning. Let's just find a solution. So why Doug Winnie? Doug celebrates the wins with us. He is a compassionate man, and following in his footsteps, we now contribute to several charities. And we know that he always has our back. I don't lose much sleep anymore, and especially over payroll. The opposite is true. I recognize that we have created 18 jobs, and Manning Pool Service supports 18 families. There is no doubt that our coach, Doug Winnie, played a huge role in our business and our personal growth. We are no longer the teacher and the cowboy. We are successful business owners.